Oh man, we have such a great and epic chapter this time around with Roger hype, Rocks hype, and more. So much hype, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I even said last chapter that I would prefer to stay in the flashbacks versus present day, and I'm so glad that Oda delivered. Xebec continues to impress, trust me. Now channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button if you enjoy seeing these One Piece reviews and want to keep them coming. If you haven't, make this the video you joined the Nakama by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss future One Piece videos and updates.
Now, the One Piece story has become so epic week by week that I literally can't wait to see what happens next. And another epic story that we absolutely love here on the channel is One Punch Man. Speaking of which, I want to give a huge thank you to One Punch Man Road to Hero 2.0 for sponsoring this video. This incredible mobile game is a turn-based idle RPG that is officially licensed by the One Punch Man anime, which means that the story is faithful to the anime. Discover multiple exciting gameplay elements, including collection, farming, PvP, and strategy. Immerse yourself in superhero battles and enjoy awesome offline rewards and a variety of modes while exploring the world of the original story. Use all your extra cards to level up your characters so you don't have to fight alone, and lead your heroes in dynamic, world-changing battles. One of my favorite features of the game is matching heroes and mysterious beings in order to create unstoppable combos. And of course, I love using the superhero signature moves to finish off my enemies, including Moomin Rider's Justice Crash. Moomin Rider is the true OP GOAT, and we all know it. Check it out for free right now and try out the new update, link in the description. Use our gift code OPMR2H for 10 free draws right now. By clicking the link, you are supporting this channel and you're also entering a world of epic superhero fun. So do what the GOAT Moomin Rider would do and Justice Crash into that link in the description right now.
And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. We get an awesome cover page here emphasizing Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro along with Roger's monster trio, who will be very relevant for this chapter, and we got a fair bit of emphasis on Nami looking very fine as well. So this chapter is called Idols, and we're told back in those days before the Great Pirate Era, certain idols roamed the seas. Obviously, the term idol in Japan has very clear connotations, usually associated with female pop idol groups that have massive groups of fans fawning over them. Well, there was a very similar kind of group back in the day, and it's honestly awesome to learn about it in this chapter, and seeing all these legends interact together is just priceless. It's honestly everything we could have wanted, as we'll see. But anyways, someone says, that was some pirate attack. Another speech bubble says, why aren't any of you fighting back? Another says, you guys are useless. And soon we find out what's going on as we see men on the ground with heart symbols in their eyes. It's commented that they've taken everything and you men are hopeless. One of the men hilariously says they were strong, while a woman responds, you didn't lift a finger. Now what are we supposed to do? We're told even the Marines could not oppose this group. They were known as the Cooja Pirates, a crew that hailed from the elusive Isle of Women. Familiar stuff. A fierce and stunning pirate band off limits to men. We get a beautiful woman with people fawning over her. She says, I grow wary of my own beauty. Day and night, it always goes this way. Will I ever be free to shed it? This is hilarious for a number of reasons. First off, she doesn't mean it, as we'll find out very soon. If anything, she wishes she was more beautiful than someone else we're about to see. But second, we are introduced to her, and it's the past Empress of Amazon Lily, Gloriosa, aka future Elder Nyon. And as we know, her beauty is definitely not what it once was in the present day. It's a common thing we see with Oda, and we'll see Big Mom here shortly too, who as we know also looked quite different in her youth. Some of the women say Captain Gloriosa is a goddess. They add, she's unbearably cute. I'm in love. Her radiance is making my mind go blank. My heart can't afford to beat this hard. Another future empress who is very young here, Tritoma, some have actually speculated that she could be Luffy's mom, runs to Gloriosa with a bunch of new fan letters. The empress asks about the way bigger pile in the back, 100 times bigger pile, and is told that those are for Shaki, a name you may recognize as belonging to the wife of Roger's right-hand man, Silver's Rayleigh. So Rayleigh got quite the catch, as we'll see and are seeing right now in the flashback. As I alluded to earlier, Gloriosa is upset at being upstaged, calling it a total betrayal by one of her people. And the narrator says, indeed, the only one said to outshine the radiant Gloriosa, the star of her era, was none other than her first mate, Shakuyaku. When they see the Roger pirates approaching, it's soon clear clear that this time Gloriosa is the one fawning over someone, and she's fawning over the one and only Goldie Roger. Roger says, hand her over, Cooja Pirates. Today's the day we finally win her from you. We're taking your first mate, Shakuyaku. Gloriosa, upset though, says, you never learned, Roger. Isn't being loved by a woman like me enough? We see a woman's leg kick the door open, and Roger is shocked to hear the woman saying, who did you come to take again? Both crews go crazy as we're told that this woman's every move was captivating. They're competing for her to take their gifts like flowers. We're told and see that in her presence, flowers wilted and birds lost their songs and people turned against each other. We see her face as she says, oh Scopper, and just like Sanji would be, despite the fact that she's attacked him, he's just happy to hear her say his name. She deals with Roger next, and for the record, Roger was not like Luffy, who seems immune to falling head over heels for people. Roger acts like he's going to swing his sword and get revenge for Scopper, but it's clear he's shaky and can't do much in her presence. Shocky stands over him, giving him a view he no doubt loves, and with hearts in his eyes, the future Pirate King says, damn it, I like Shakuyaku too much. She laughs and says, you too, Roger? The narrator says her beauty humbled even the mightiest warriors. She loved her cigarettes even back then, and she says to Roger, you should know I'll never submit to another's captivity. She tells her crew to take their treasure while Roger is still looking with hearts in his eyes at Shocky, while Gloriosa is upset and telling him, Roger, you know I'm the one who likes you, right? It's so funny. Roger is just cruel in how blatant he is when he says, out of the way, Gloriosa, you're blocking Shocky. Shocky comments to Rayleigh, the guy she'll end up with, saying, Rayleigh, it must be hard for you, and he says, yeah, I'm surrounded by idiots. She winks at him, and you can see he's affected too, but he definitely played it off more cool than Roger and Scopper. At this point, as if this wasn't enough famous characters at once, we get the Marines make an appearance who spotted the Cooja and Roger crews. It's not just any marine ship either. At first, Roger thinks they gotta set sail, but when he finds out it's Garp's ship, Roger loses it and gets pumped, saying, alright men, new plan, crush them, while Garp says the same, holding a cannonball in his hands. Garp is introduced as Vice Admiral and future hero of the Marines and grandfather of Luffy. Garp and Roger don't waste much time and immediately attack each other, Garp with the move Meteor Fist and Roger with the move Aramitama. Now, what can get these two clear rivals to team up together against Rocks? I can't wait to find out. The narrator tells us that Roger, Garp, and Rocks were the three who would be spoken of as legends in the Great Pirate era, but at this time, their blood burned with the passion of youth. I love that. Of course, even if Roger looks funny with his face punched in, the two were clearly still very strong, and already we see the Conqueror's Haki shockwaves. The narrator also tells us that the Cooja were at the height of their popularity at this time. No one could speak of this era without mentioning them. Gloriosa, though, we see is now afflicted with heartache. As the narrator says, many saw them as idols, and their wanted posters fetched a high price. Stalkers taking creep shots became a daily nuisance for the crew. Soon after this encounter, Shakuyaku was crowned empress and her popularity continued to grow to an unimaginable level. Note, Gloriosa will also serve as a member of the Rocks Pirates and be at God Valley, so I look forward to seeing how her lovesickness over Roger plays out with all that. We are still in a flashback, but now we jump to what is happening on Elbaf at Edas Tavern. A giant is telling the young herald, I saw Loki drowning after the ship capsized. He's always acting up so badly when you're not around. I honestly wondered whether I should help him or not. Now this last line is crazy if you think about it. It's like he said to Harold, I was wondering if I should let your kid sleep with the fishes or not. Harold, feeling guilty because of Loki's behavior, apologizes and thanks him for saving Loki. He tells Loki to pull himself together. And Ida, Hiruden's mom, is actually the one who gets mad at Loki's behalf. Keep in mind how much Loki's own mom hated him, and here Ida is treating him like her very own son. She says to the man, what the heck? You shouldn't have even hesitated to help. How would you feel if Loki had died? Harold tries to calm her down, saying, come on Ida, Loki is the one who selfishly took the ship and sailed off. You gotta respect the way she answers the king, mind you. She says, so what? If he can just stand by and let a kid die, I'd drag him under and drown him myself 100 times over. Loki says, I didn't ask anyone to save me, and the captain says, damn it, that's the piss poor attitude I was talking about. Ida tells Loki, you lost your mom and your dad's always quite busy. Very true. I bet you must get pretty lonely, right Loki? Loki's hilarious response to this kindness is, shut up you old hag. So funny. But impressively, Ida is not affected at all. She just laughs and says, wouldn't it be better to stay with us? And Hiruden and Loki at the very same time say, no way. I feel like these guys will be good brothers in the long run at the end of it all, even if they continue to have some superficial clashes. Just like Sanji and Zoro do, for example. Loki says, I'm on to you, Ida. You're just acting all motherly, so we'll let you move into the castle, aren't you? You're just a gold digger. Oh man, the dude's so mean. Obviously, Hiruden has had enough of his mom getting bashed, so he says, screw you, Loki, and charges at him. Harold is so out of his element parenting that it's kind of hilarious, but he tries to calm things down by saying, what you said is unacceptable. Apologize right this instant. Don't you care how Ida feels? Ida just says, you kids are just too cute. Harold says, you're being too sweet on him. Then a crying girl named Mato, by the way ends up being the bartender we see at Elbaf in the present day, comes and says, I hate how he says such mean things to you, stupid Loki. Ida says, Mato, are you crying for me? The world is full of kind and beautiful people. Loki says, I'm sick of this damn country, a different perspective than Ida's, even though she's an outsider and he's the prince. He says, every single one of you is weak and dirty. I'm going to be free like Rocks. And the narrator says from then on, each time Rocks visited to try to recruit Harold, Loki would attempt to join the Rocks crew, but he would ultimately never get his way, so very much like Luffy and Shanks there, they could definitely bond over that, and that's why Loki recognized it in Luffy. Loki says, aren't you happy? I'm going to follow him out to sea, cause I hate you all right back. So Loki always wanted to go out to sea, another reason to hope he will indeed become a Straw Hat. We then move on to my favorite topic these days, Rocks D. Xebec himself and where he is right now in the flashback. The narrator tells us that this is Pirate Island several months after the Rocks crew took it over. Someone has come asking around saying he wants to join the Rocks Pirates. Other extra pirates laugh and say it won't happen and he won't even see them. The Rocks Pirates are the ocean's all-stars of evil. See that fish-shaped boulder over there, pointing at the future signature skull of the island? The man continues, that's where they're said to be holed up. But the deeper into the island you go, the madder the bastards get. Good luck with that death wish, and the man laughs. He even tries to kick the mystery figure, but this guy ain't no joke, and he is serious about joining the crew. He crushes the man's head in his fist, and we are introduced to Kyo the Wicked, aka Kyo the Hitman, aka Future Silver Axe, another famous member of the Rocks Pirates. People wonder what Shiki, the Golden Lion's rival, is doing here as they freak out, and Shiki is also on the Rocks Pirates. Crazy how many legends are in this one crew. But the narrator explains that the strong gathered around Rocks and their presence attracted even stronger recruits, and one such case was Future Silver Axe. We then finally see the holes made that will give the island its signature skull look. It was the doing of Rocks himself, and he says, what of you, look at the scenery, blasting a couple of holes in the place was the right call after all, ain't that right? Rocks continues, as I was saying, there's two devil fruits I'm after. One of them's most likely on Elbaf. It'll only show its true power if Harold eats it, end quote. And one might guess that the first one is Blackbeard's current darkness fruit, and that the other one is clearly the one passed down in Harold's giant family. The mythical one we already heard about, and that's been hyped up. But if Rocks is presumably putting on the same level as the darkness fruit and one of his top two fruits, that is really hyping up a fruit that might be in Loki's possession, big time. Another hype reason for Loki to join the Straw Hats, hashtag Loki for Straw Hat. We see so many famous pirates next, including Pirate Captain John and a younger and more attractive Big Mom. They're talking about the frozen giant army and about why they're trying to resurrect them. Whitebeard is there and Streusen, Linlin's partner in crime. Now, Streusen started Big Mom's crew with her. He's the head chef of it, and we have also been told that he bears a strong resemblance to Perospero, so that many people believe that he was Linlin's first husband. We were previously told that when he was young, he became the cook of a pirate crew, but stayed behind when the crew fell apart. Being a cook for the Rocks Pirates definitely sounds like a legendary gig. We also see Pirate Barbell, a catfish fishman, that's a tongue twister, and a young Kaido. Rocks makes it clear that they need Harold, the current king of Elbaf, so that these Frozen giants will have a reason to listen to them when they're resurrected. Seems pretty crazy, all of it, but this is One Piece, so anything can happen, especially when you believe as much as Luffy and Rocks, evidently. Kaido the youngster says, "Can't we just use our strength to force them to obey? We can do the same thing to that Herald guy too." At this point, Rocks kicks Kaido in the face. Bro. Saying, "Never say that again, you brat." People are telling him to calm down and calming Kaido down too, who wants to fight now. They say, "We just got this island. Do you two want to turn it into a ruin already?" A group like this is bound to implode sooner or later, but this isn't the time. John, the money lover, says, "Right, let's hold off on that till we cash in a little more. Get it, you horn-headed rookie?" Rocks continues to subvert expectations, and here he shows a real concern for his friend King Harold. Some admirable loyalty there. He says, "Harold's my good pal. I'll crush you if you say that crap again, Kaido." Like, who expected Rocks to be this way? I'm just liking him more and more each chapter. If Oda doesn't reverse things somehow soon, Garp and Roger will be looking like the bad guys to me for teaming up against this legend. We then get an epic panel of the Rocks crew, and it's just funny to note how large Big Mom is and how tiny her first husband is here. But Oda loves very differently sized people having kids together, I guess. Just look at Scopper and Ripley. Rocks, clearly in the leadership position, tells his crew, "Listen up, you lot. Elbaf is the key to bringing down the Holy Land. If any of you don't buy that, then get lost. It's your choice if you want to stand with me on the day of destiny. But if you got the guts, follow me. I'll take you to the world's summit." We're told the crew is formed now, and man, looking at Rocks' expression as he says all this, you cannot help but feel hyped. Oda, please keep the Rock stuff coming, at least until we see the how and why of God Valley. Now, if you enjoyed this one as much as I did, then you won't want to miss this video on screen that YouTube says you'll like and subscribe for more One Piece, and I'll see you in the next one.